Howdy guys, we are Team Expense Splitter. I, Abhishek Maurya, am going to give a brief presentation of our project app Expense Splitter. Our aim of the project was to design a web application where users can record their transactions for any event performed in a group with multiple members so that they can keep a track of payers and participants in each expense or a transaction. Ultimately, these transactions should be simplified, and our primary aim is to generate a summary of simplification where it shows as which person in a group owes how much amount to which other person in a group. This equates to a real life app which we use in our phone, which is called a Splitwise app. For our app, we have used Ruby on Rails as a web application framework, and we have used HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap for the UI designing. Our app has three major modules, which are authentication module, groups module, and events module. Our our app's authentication module involves feature of login and logout. User can log in via their Gmail account, and if user is already registered with the app, they will enter their profile, and if the user is not registered with the app, their new profile is created. Logout functionality logs user out and redirects the user to the login page. Our app's group module provides the functionality of creating a group with multiple members, editing and modifying the groups also. This is basically a landing page of an app when user logs in, and this page basically shows the list of all groups the user are a part of. Our app's event module basically provides the functionality to add a new event or a transaction or an expense where user can add the expense mentioning multiple payers and multiple participants corresponding to which users paid for that expense and which all users are involved in that transaction along with the amount and name and description of the event. We also have a page where user can see the list of all the event or transactions particular corresponding to that group. You can see at the right image, we have a list of all events corresponding to a particular group with the details such as pair participants and the amount with the name of the event. Our app takes all the event corresponding to particular group in a simplification algorithm and simplifies all the transaction and basically outputs the information where it mentions which user owes how much amount to which other user in that particular group. Coming to the challenges of our app while making it, the major one was to build a simplification algorithm which basically takes all transactions as an input and gives simplification information as an output. We basically needed to handle different case scenarios such as splitting the bills evenly between all the users with the other scenarios where the payer is not involved in the transaction and has just paid for that transaction. For all these scenarios, we have to make sure that the calculation are accurate and secure. Other challenge involves integration of event and group modules, which is related to the database where we have to track each member's balance for different groups. Other challenges involves deployment of our app on a Heroku, specifically making the auth module work on a Heroku. Major learnings were firstly related to architecture, where we considered MVC architecture, which helps to improve the code architecture a lot. Second major learning was related to development, where we followed agile development and a test driven development, which helped to improve code quality while maintaining it properly and considering the reliability factor also. Future work that other team can take up is handling the case of uneven splitting and also integrating the non-group transactions into the logic along with incorporating the payment methods such as Venmo and PayPal to settle the balances. That's all for the presentation. Thank you and have a great day.
Hello everyone. We will be doing that video demo of our app, which is basically the name of the app is Easy Split, and the app is basically an expense splitter app. It's like any other app that we use on a day-to-day basis in our mobile, like Splitwise or any. There are many such apps available in the market. So the app, just a brief introduction about the app. The app is web only, so there is no mobile Android version or iPhone version of it. Second is it's built on Ruby on Rails, and the main user stories of this app are registering a user, and then creating groups, and then managing groups, adding and removing members to the group, and also sharing expenses amongst users, tracking expenses, and logging in expenses. Between payers and participants. So also the most important aspect of the app that we have achieved successfully is the simplification of expenses amongst members inside a group. That is basically, for example, let's say in a group there are three members, A, B, C. So A has done the expense of $10 for B. Then B would actually owe A $10, right? So let's see the sequence. A basically paid for B $10, and then B pays for C $10. So rather than to settle the expenses, rather than C paying B back $10 and then B paying A back $10, a simplification job would make it like C can directly pay A $10 and then settle the expenses. That's basically the simplification part, and we have done it successfully. So as you can see, this is our app, and so I'll be going through many of the functionalities about the app, and then we will also see a sample simplification, how it's done. Before getting into the app, so there are, let me give a brief overview of what we'll be doing. So there is a login functionality for the app here. So we can sign in through Google, and then there is also logout functionality. So anybody who is a registered user for this app only can create or add members to the groups, and also we can add members who are already registered users. We can't add anybody. Then we'll be seeing how to create a group, and also we'll be seeing how to create an expense, and also we'll be seeing what are the different parameters and how we can edit a group, or how we can manage an expense. And then we will also see some sample transactions, and do a simplification, and then see whether the app is actually working or not. So let's start. So this is the login, and then as I've already signed up, so I will just click here, sign in with Google. So there are two accounts, and then I have basically signed up with both of them. So let me get into this. As you can see, and there is already a group. This is the landing page after you log in, and then it shows us logged in successfully, and then it also says like welcome and then the username, and so we can actually log out at any point in time. Now this is the name of the group, and this is the description of the group. So outing for team members, and then who are the team members? There are six people in the group: Rupak, admin, Mayuk, Yashas, Dibyanshu, and Hima. So this is basically populated from the seed data. We can also create groups here dynamically. So right now, let's actually get into the group and see what information it contains. Show group. If I show group, so it shows all the team members, and then we can edit the group, or we can go back to groups, and then show group expenses. We can actually see all the expenses that are present in the group, and we can also create a group expense for the group. Now let's actually log out and see what happens. Okay, so I have successfully logged out, and I can't actually see anything right now. Let's log back in here. Let's go to this group, and then let's try to show group expenses. Okay, so there are no expenses here because we have not added any expense to the seed data. Let's try to create an expense, create a new event. So here, name of the event, let's say it's lunch. What's the event type? It is food. And let's say two people paid, admin and Rupak P. And payers are the ones who basically paid for the event, and participants are who would actually share the event. So this is shared between six people, including Rupak P and admin. So, and then the other people are Mayuk, Yashas, Divyanshu, and Hima. And the total amount was, let's say, it's 120. So that basically means that two people paid 120, so each of them paid 60, and then it has to be divided among six people equally. So everybody basically owes $20 each. But then, and so these people have paid 60 each, so that means they should be getting back 40 in the end. Let's see. Let's create the event. Okay, so we have created the event, and this is what it shows. It says that lunch, and then the amount is 120, and these are the people who have paid for it, and these are the people who are the participants. So now let's go back to events, and then let's see back to group what it shows. Okay, let's see. This is the settlement. So admin is owed 20 by Divyanshu, and admin is owed 20 by Hima. So basically what it means is admin uh, is actually getting back for 40 because he paid 60, and then he also was part of the lunch, so for including, so the $20 expense for himself, excluding that, he should be getting back 40, and he's getting back 40. And let's see, as Rupak also paid 60, so he's also getting back 40 here. That means that's basically the splitting functionality of the app is working. And now let's go back to groups, and then let's try to log out and log in. Let's see if this information is still present. So we are trying to log in and then show this group. So yeah, so it's still there. Let's see. Let's say that let's do a simplification, further simplification, wherein Rupak P is owed 20 by Mayuk. So basically Mayuk is supposed to pay Rupak 20, but then what happens is later Mayuk and Rupak go for a movie, and then Mayuk pays that, and he pays $40. In that case, Mayuk pays $40. That means 20 for Rupak and 20 for him. But then he was supposed to pay 20 Rupak earlier. So that means in the end, Mayuk and Rupak are actually settled after this event. Let's see if that happens. If the simplification works, then that should happen. Otherwise, if there is no simplification, then all the expenses will be actually logged here, and then for every transaction there should be a reverse transaction to settle. So by default we are supporting simplification. Let's try to create the event here. Name of the event, movie, event type, entertainment, and Mayuk paid. So remember, Mayuk basically currently owes Rupak 20, and right now in this event Mayuk and Rupak both participated. So we can choose these two for the participants, and we can choose Mayuk for the payers. And how much was the amount? The amount was 40. So right now let's create the event. Okay, so we have created this event, so it shows who are the payers and who are the participants. Let's go back to events and see that was the original event here, and then admin and Rupak paid 120. So that's why basically excluding their part out of this, out of the six people, they each of them was supposed to get 40. And then right now, as Mayuk paid 40 here in that case, so we should actually see Mayuk and Rupak are settled amongst each other. Let's go back to group. Okay, So we see here that admin is owed by Dibyanshu and Hema 20 and 20 each. So that means basically he or they would get $40. But then Rupak is just owed by Yashas $20. That means Rupak and Mayuk are settled. So this basically is a sample example wherein we have shown that the simplification is working. Or let's take another example wherein we will do an expense between Hema and admin, and then we will see. Let's create an expense. So the expense, let's say dinner. Type of the expense, food, and who paid? Hema paid. And who are the participants? Both admin and Hema. They had dinner, and the amount is 40. So as Hema was supposed to pay admin 20 back, but here Hema actually spent 40 here, so 20 for herself and 20 for the admin. That means basically they should also be settled amongst each other. Let's create the event. I am creating the event, and here, okay, so this is the event that is created. Let's go back to events here, and then so that was the first event, this is the second event, and this is the new event here, and the amount is 40. Let's see and go back if Hema and admin are settled amongst them or not. Fine. So that is settled. So this is how the simplification works. We have shown an example how the simplification works. Admin is owed 20 by Dibyanshu. Rupak P is owed 20 by Yashas. And now let's get back to groups. And we can come back, we can do back and forth, and then we can always see who owes whom. So as an enhancement, what can be done is whoever is actually logged in, only the transactions related to them should be shown, and that's a filtering task which can be done very easily. So that can be taken up by the next team, next in the next course, whoever would be doing it. And yeah, so we welcome them to contact us to provide if they need any support. So let's get back to groups, and then let's create a new group. Let's say the group name is let's say SC project, and description maybe let's say summer project. And who are the members? Let's just add only 3 people, and then let's see, create group. Okay, so create group. So there are only 3 people in this group, and show group expenses. There's nothing. We can add expenses, and we can actually simplify here. So we have seen that even though Rupak is and all these 3 people are part of 2 groups, when you actually come to this group, there is nothing, no settlement that has to be done here. So this settlement is actually group wise. Let's get back to groups at this point. So here, so this group, so we can also see 2 groups here. For Rupak, he's part of 2 groups, and in the second group there are 3 people, and in the first group there are 6 people. And let's go back to this group, and we can see, so this is the simplification result that is there. And if we can try logging out and then logging back in, so we can see that. So that's basically the summary and the video demo of the app. And yeah, so there could be some enhancements that are possible to, for example, to show a history of transactions, that we can see a list of transactions here, show group expenses. But what I meant was, for a particular user, all the history or consolidated list of history of transactions, regardless of any group. So that can be done maybe somewhere here at the landing page. And then yeah, so filtering of expenses. But then end of the day, the main functionality that we targeted is working. So yeah, thank you. That ends our presentation. Thank you so much.